This video is brought to you by KEH. This is the new Lumix 100 to 500 f5 to f7.1, $2,100, and at 100 to 500 millimeters, it's pretty versatile. You could shoot sports, you could shoot wildlife, but at the wider end, like 100 millimeters, you could also do some portraits. The question is it fast enough for sports and wildlife? Is the image quality any good? And is this the right lens for you? We're gonna find out soon, but first let's go over the build and some of the features of this lens. Let's first talk about the build quality. This does not feel like a cheap or airy lens. It's substantial, it's well built, and it has some heft. It's about 3.2 pounds with this mount, this tripod mount here, but I've gotta say, it gets in the way of me zooming like this, so I'm just gonna take that off because it's limiting me. I also don't think it's heavy enough where I need to put it on a tripod. It feels similar in weight to a 70 to 200 f2.8, and so it's not really unreasonable to carry this around. So it's nice to have a 500 millimeter that you feel comfortable slinging over your shoulder for the day. It also has some interesting features on it. We have this zoom limiter that you can turn on and off, and that keeps you from zooming beyond 150 millimeters down to 100 millimeters. So you can't go any lower than 150. It also has a focus limiter right here, and that'll kind of help your autofocus not have to work through the whole focal range if you want it to be a little faster. It has autofocus and manual focus, and also multiple modes for image stabilization for still images or panning, which is going to be good for sports and wildlife. They have a programmable button right here, and I've been told you can program that to switch autofocus subjects. So if you want to go between people or animals, I guess you can program that there. And they also have this little switch where you can go from smooth to tight for when you're zooming. I couldn't really tell the difference very much, but it's there, it's a little bit. But yeah, overall, it feels good. How does this do for sports and wildlife? Well, I'm lumping them together because I actually think animals are like athletes playing the ultimate sport. This isn't pickleball, okay? They expire if they lose. And you need something that's fast for fast action. The good news is the 100 to 500 has it because they put a linear focusing motor in this thing. And that's nerd talk basically for saying this thing was built for speed, and the good news is it works. I was pleasantly surprised when a duck was flying right at me and it was able to lock on and keep focus as it flew past me. So it gets the job done. If it's able to do that with a duck, it's gonna be able to do that with your 8-year-old. They're not as fast as a duck. We gotta look up duck's top speed. The question is f7 good enough? Well, I took these pictures of this egret in nice lighting, and you can see that you get some subject separation, there's plenty of light, there's plenty of detail. So I think in great lighting, you're gonna find that f7 is good enough and it works pretty well. Sometimes I did want more reach than 500 millimeters. There are compatible teleconverters, a 1.4 times teleconverter and also a 2 times teleconverter. That's gonna get you more reach, but also keep in mind it's gonna cut your light by 1 and 2 stops. So it's just something to consider. I didn't have them to test, but they are available for you. Something interesting with this lens is that the minimum focusing distance is actually really close. So I'm at 500 millimeters now. I have it in manual focus, and I can get this sign in focus from here. I don't know what I could fit in the frame that close. Let me see. Do you see that red leaf down there?
Yes, I do.
It completely fills the frame. So if you want to do some close-up work, that minimal focusing distance would be good for you. Aside from sports and wildlife, you can also do portraits at the wide end. You have 100, you have 150, you have 200. I mean, I just did a review for a 200 millimeter f2 portrait lens, so that's not unreasonable. Let's see what those look like. So it's pretty light, it's versatile, and it takes great pictures. If you're thinking about getting this lens, you can sell your old gear to our sponsor, KEH. And they have this cool function where you can type in what you have online, and it will give you an evaluation and an estimate of what they might pay you for it. You send it to their experts, and they look at it and make sure everything's working properly. It's easy. You don't have to meet some shady person online on some certain marketplace that you've never met before. You don't have to worry about the payments not going through because they're a scammer. KEH makes it streamlined and simple for you to trade in your old gear and buy used gear that's new to you. So check them out in the description down below. I have a link, and remember to use our code there so that we get some credit. Thanks, KEH. Let's talk about the nerdy stuff next. So when using this lens practically in the real world, it looked great and I enjoyed using it, which I think is the most important thing. I wasn't frustrated by the experience. It was autofocusing quickly and I could take the pictures that I want and yield results that I liked. That's important. Let's get into the pixel peepee nerdy stuff. I took some pictures of test charts to test the sharpness, chromatic aberration, things like that. I noticed that when I'm at f5 and 100 millimeters, you get some chromatic aberration on the test chart. You can see a little bit of the blue fringing here. And that's kind of normal and expected for a zoom lens. I wanted to see what it looks like in the real world, so I took a picture through some trees, backlit with light, and you can see some chromatic aberration there. I don't worry that much about chromatic aberration because it's really easy to clean up in post. So that's not a deal breaker for me. And also as you zoom in and your aperture goes up, it goes away. So at 500 millimeters, f7, you're not really seeing it anymore. That's probably where you will be shooting for wildlife. When it came to sharpness, I took my test charts out again and I got pictures at every focal length, 100, 150, 200, 300, 400, 500 to see what happens to the sharpness as you're focusing in. It's the sharpest at 100 millimeters and it slightly declines as it goes to 500 with the most noticeable decline at the edges and the corners, but it's still sharp as you can see here. They boast 11 aperture blades. 11? What's that mean, nerd? It means that they have more blades in the aperture ring, so you get more of a circle. And where you see that is in the bokeh. I took some pictures of some lights so you can see what the bokeh looks like, and it is round and smooth and even. You get slight distortion on the edges, but it's really beautiful, smooth bokeh. They're proud of that. 11 aperture blades also means you get more spikes in your starburst. So if you could look at this picture here, I took a picture of the sun at f32. You get these spiky things, it's called a starburst. The more aperture blades, the more spikes you get, so it's kind of more aesthetically pleasing. Why would you want that, you ask? Well, sometimes people use them as a compositional element in a photo and it could look pretty cool. If that's you, you'll be excited to see that these starbursts are really pretty. And lastly, I tested the image stabilization. I put the image stabilization off and I took pictures of this test chart and gradually lowered the shutter speed until it was shaky. Then I put it on and did the same thing. I got 2 stops being able to handhold with the image stabilization on. I know that's not correct. I'm a very wiggly person. I think you probably should be able to get about 5, but I'm gonna defer that test to someone who's less wiggly than me. I got 2 stops, that's pretty good. All in all, I'd say the nerdy stuff is cool, but actually using the lens and seeing if it works, that's what I care about the most. And I want to say I had a pleasant experience with this. I'm proud of some of the pictures that I took. I would share them online and I don't think anybody would notice that it's not with a more expensive lens. So if you're looking to get a wildlife and sports lens, I think this is a great option for you. Now don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell because sometimes the algorithm thinks they know what you want and they don't and they forget about me. So hit that bell so you see my next videos about lenses, cameras, tutorials, and everything. And of course, check out our sponsor, KEH. If you want to sell your gear hassle-free, stress-free, scariness-free, you go to KEH and you can put in what you have and they'll give you a quote for how much they'll give you for your stuff. Or if you're looking to save some money and buy used gear, you can rest assured it's going to be good quality. They have a warranty, so you know that you're not going to get ripped off. And also, they test all of their gear and inspect it before they sell it, so you know you'll be getting good functioning stuff. So check them out. Use the link down below in the description. Thanks so much, KEH, and thanks to all of you for watching. See you next time.